Has VGK hit rock bottom? We have to ask that question. The Golden Knights continue this free fall as they lose last night 6-3 at last place Columbus, and VGK returns home with a 1-3-1 road trip. We'll talk about all that. A lot to unpack right here on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights.
Your Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, hi again, everyone. Tony Cardasco, Chris Golick from Las Vegas. We appreciate you making us your first listen every day. Thanks so much. And you could find us wherever you get your podcast. And please make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, which is Locked On Golden Knights. We are brought to you today by Sleeper. Download the Sleeper app, and you could get up to $100 match on your first deposit by using the promo code Locked On NHL. The Golden Knights, they continue to sink. Last night, the loss in Columbus to the Blue Jackets in a game that marked the return, Chris, of Jack Eichel to the lineup after that freakish accident back in January where he lost his blade. This road trip, not very good, not a lot of positive. And I just was looking last night at the third periods alone, Chris. 3 goals scored by CBJ. 4 in the third for the Sabres. I mean, these aren't actually world beaters. And then a goal apiece in the other 3 games. Really tough. 5 games, 10 goals in the third period, 2 per game. The VGK team, again, is losing puck battles. It's just been an effort thing, more so than, hey, we're missing Eichel. Well, now Eichel's back, or Mark Stone. They have been outscored in the third period when things start to matter. And to me, again, they just fall apart in the third period. I don't know where you want to begin, but this is a free fall like we really have not seen from this team because they're losing to teams that they're supposed to beat at this stage of the season.
Remember, I think it was game 1 in the playoffs last year. I could be wrong on when this happened, but Cassidy made the comment, you're not going to beat the Arizona Coyotes in January with an effort like that. I forgot the exact gist of it, but welcome to Coach Cassidy's worst nightmare, I guess, right now. So sticking to the game for a second, I'm sure we're going to have plenty of different ways to go with this later on. The first goal, you got that weird bounce, but you got Amadio right there and Chandler Stevenson not chasing his man back. Weird bounce, weird goal. It's going to happen, whatever, fine. The second goal, Martinez is just beaten. His ankles are broken trying to chase the player. William Karlsson doesn't he leaves his guy alone right in front of the slot. Goal, okay, fine. Goal again with Amadio and William Karlsson. William Karlsson can't win a battle. Amadio can't win a battle. Hill gets beat clean. Fourth goal, 2-on-1. Hill gets beat clean. Fifth goal, White Cloud, I'm not sure he's doing, but Hill is beaten clean. So, I mean, this isn't something that a trade deadline is going to fix right now, I think.
No. And that's the thing. Again, there's a lot of reports that have surfaced about VGK picking up not 1, but 2 wingers or 2 players or what have you. But this isn't a case where VGK says, okay, we're home, honey, kids, back to everything, and we'll be fine and get our cars detailed, and then we're fine. This isn't that sort of thing. There's a lot of issues right now with this team.
Yeah, and I mean, just trying to stick with the game for a little bit, it's hard not to just look at the big picture right now. Like, you expect a weird start, right? Eichel's not in the lineup for a while. All the lines are mixed up again. I mean, there's not been a consistent forward line combination for the last, I don't know how long it's been now. So, I mean, they get back in the game, right? You start the game 0-0 going into the second period, like, okay, everything's going to be fine. And then I was just scoreboard watching. I was coaching hockey last night, so I couldn't necessarily catch the live version of the funeral. I caught it all later on, unfortunately. But you're just expecting like, okay, the team's going to turn it on, right? It's going to get better. And I mean, you could use this same script for basically the entire road trip to a degree, I guess. And it didn't happen. And you wonder where this team is. I think it was Sinbin that tossed it out there. Over the last 50 games, this is a 500 team. So the credit has run out that this team earned for the first 20 games. They haven't paid their bills in the last, 40 game, whatever it is, and it's not looking good right now.
So what's VGK since I made that appearance at T-Mobile Arena? They are 1-8-1. Is it something like that? Yeah, could be. Alexander Nylander, the hat trick, second game in a row where VGK gives up the hat trick here. And well, the second game on this road trip, I should say, where they gave up the hat trick. Morgan Geeky, we saw before. But you failed to talk about Alex Pietrangelo overskating the puck. And then Cole Sillinger just picks it up and he feeds it ahead to Nylander. We saw Cotter, right? Wasn't it Paul Cotter who overskated a puck that bad this season? It was so poorly played. And you don't expect that from someone like Pietrangelo. But this is turning out to be like Keystone Cops material right now.
You had a weird penalty in the game last night. Just speaking of the weirdness, it was on the NHL app as a slashing penalty, but I guess it was announced in the arena as an illegal equipment penalty. I was trying to find it live and get a better explanation of it, but just putting the pieces of the puzzle together, my assumption is Paul Cotter was playing with a broken stick. His stick got busted and he whacked someone with it or something like that. So I believe that's the explanation for the illegal equipment penalty. And you're mentioning all this weirdness and stuff. So it just felt like a good time to dive in there with that one.
Yeah, VGK's defense just not good, not where it needs to be. We'll talk more about what Cassidy had to say about them and goaltending and such. And tonight, the LA Kings, with a victory against Vancouver, could pass VGK, and VGK can enter Thursday's game not in third place in the Pacific, but in fourth place in the Pacific, with everyone else coming. Kraken beat Calgary last night, and yeah, everyone's starting to come right now. Jack Eichel, -1 on the ice, 19:55 time on the ice. Briso, right, was sent down, so they deactivated Brisson for VGK. You are Mr. Cap compliant, so are they okay with the cap right now where they're at? Obviously, for them to activate Eichel, but where do they sit right now? And Mark Stone, not quite yet on LTIR, or did they?
No, Mark Stone. I put this out about 3 hours before the game. The only feasible path to getting Eichel in last night's lineup was going to be Mark Stone to LTIR. And that's exactly what happened. So right now, at this moment, Golden Knights have one available roster spot on their 23-man roster, two roster spots available between all the available spots you can have on an NHL roster, AHL, NHL, all that stuff, basically. As far as money to spend right now, there is approximately $7.2 million available. Now, as far as the forwards in the lineup, there's 12 forwards in the lineup. So no one, I mean, Mason Morelli can get sent down and will likely get sent down if these additions happen, I guess, so to speak. That would free up about $775,000. Byron Freys, same thing. That could be another $700,000. Where there's a bit of a logjam right now is on the defensive side. You got the top six defensemen. Well, six defensemen are on the ice. I don't know if top six is what we're going to say. You also got Ben Hutton and Miramonov. That accounts for another $1.5 million collectively. On the IR side, Howden, Carrier, Dorofeev. Carrier seems close, I think. Howden and Dorofeev, who the heck knows what's going on there. So basically, with the injured players that could get moved around and such, Golden Knights might have like nearly $10 million to work with coming up to the trade deadline. And, I put a tweet out there a few days ago asking Golden Knight fans if they felt general manager Kelly McCribben's mind was made up already coming to the deadline. And people thought that was a yes. I think everyone thought, though, that when McCribben's mind is made up, it was going to be pushing the chips in and finding a way to give the team a shot to make another Stanley Cup run. Let's see. I'm curious what McCrimmon is
You're
thinking right
curious
now.
about how right I was that this team's going to sell. You were curious about that.
I
Morelli,
said 2 weeks ago it was not a foregone conclusion that
you
the
did.
Golden Knights were buyers, and that's before this road trip even started.
Morelli with the wraparound. Carlson with the goal, his 400th career point, 250 empty netters, and Chandler Stevenson had a goal for VGK.
I'm not even clicking the button because no.
Coming up next, we will talk about Bruce Cassidy and what he said post game, saying that the team doesn't want it. We'll tell you more when we return right here on Locked On Golden Knights. We want to remind you that you could win big by playing daily fantasy hockey on Sleeper. It's the official daily fantasy app of the Locked On NHL network, and it's really cool. Sleeper is our number one choice for daily fantasy sports and especially daily fantasy hockey, because with Sleeper, you can win 100 times your cash in daily fantasy hockey. And with all the contests that they have, what players would you take this week to win 100 times your money? Well, you can connect with a lot of other fans. Entries can be made in under 1 minute. And all you have to do is pick whether studs continue to score, like McKinnon and Kucherov, each with 105 points. And look at Connor McDavid now with 97 points, including 87 assists.
I was going to say 84.
So sleeper projections, again, are for things like goals, for assists, for saves, plus minus, and more in a given game. To win 100 times on sleeper, you need to correctly predict the outcome of 8 player stats. You heard us, VGK fans. That's right. You can win 100 times your money by playing daily fantasy hockey with Sleeper. So start paying attention, nail your picks so that you can start winning big. Use the promo code LOCKEDONNHL, and you will get up to $100 match in your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply, and that is the code LOCKEDONNHL. See Sleeper's terms of use. Welcome back, Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick from Las Vegas. We appreciate you tuning in, of course, making us your first listen. And we appreciate, okay, the top 3 country rankings from the past week. Well, Canada was there for a minute, but it's United States, Canada, and of course, Golick, we are so big in Denmark right now, and I don't know why. I have no idea. Any clue? Denmark. So I've never been to Denmark, but shout out to the Great Danes of Denmark today. And make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel as well, because that is Locked On Golden Knights. Fridays are WTF. Saturday, the Chris and Chris show.
I wish I would have got really fast. You mentioned the Chris and Chris show, so I'm going to jump in for a second. As we were leaving Lifeguard last night, or America First Arena, pardon me. Sorry, Golden Knights. As we were leaving the locker room, gentleman's walking in, dropping off the bag, and ready for his game. And someone's like, "Oh, Chris and Chris." So little Chris had his first celebrity appearance last night. So that was pretty cool. That made Chris feel good. And I don't know the gentleman's name. I'm sorry. But if you're watching or listening, say thank you very much for saying hello to us. And definitely more or less for Chris, because he definitely it's pretty cool for him. So thank you very much. Nice to meet you. And thanks for listening and watching.
Of course. We don't want it. Very evident. We don't want it. It's very evident in our game. Bruce Cassidy on the sway scale was probably about a 7.5 last night, maybe a little bit more. He's so irritated. Not his best post-game presser, but how do they turn things around here? And that's a pretty strong statement. You know, again, it's an effort statement. It's something we've been saying. You can sugarcoat things as much as you want to, even use the excuses about the bad ice first goal last night, and use the excuses about players being injured and what have you. But the effort is not there. The first goal, he said, unfortunate bounce. The next 4 said, we just did not want it. Strong.
It's a fair statement right now. And, I think I pushed back a little bit on yesterday's show about the efforts, and I think I felt we were getting mixed up between effort and execution, but I'm on the effort train right now. I was trying to defend the fact that these guys are out there working working hard and stuff. And it's not necessarily as much effort as it is poor execution, but I think it is effort now. The effort just simply is not there. This is a Stanley Cup champion that has still largely a lot of the same players on the ice. It's not like there was a big thing that happened in the offseason shipping out many key ingredients of the team. Yes, there's a lot of new players on the ice, but what leadership are they getting right now from the Marchessaults, from not I could say Eichel yet because he just came back, but from this defensive unit, from the Martinezes, from the Petros, from the White Clouds, from the Hagues, from the McNabbs, from players like Amadio and Cotter who are out there, and we're not playing so many players injured. Nick Waugh, and point being is you have all these players that are champions, and it's not like they're losing games 3-2. It's not like every now and then they're winning a game when maybe you don't expect it. That kind of happened in Toronto, I guess, in the road trip. But the Boston game, they fought back, couldn't get there. Like, that's not the worst game, right? But then you watch these last two games, you're like, what are we watching as fans, as media, as
What the
journalists?
Friday?
Well, I almost said journalist, Tony, but I don't want to. I want to get you uncomfortable over there.
No, alleged. It's alleged. Alleged journalist. Okay, big question. I'm going to cut you off for once.
Please
okay,
do.
Big
Let's
question. Someone left me the message the other day asking me if I'm a journalist or an entertainer. We need to start a poll. Am I a journalist or an entertainer? Probably neither. Probably neither.
Oof.
Go ahead.
That's a tough one. I think I just got a meme for my facial expression there.
Yeah, that was good.
I mean,
that was good.
Back to the game, and like this is sports. This is Chicago. Chris Kondos, another appearance for you on the show. This is Chicago sports talk radio. We're listening to the Score or WGN radio or 780, whatever. After just a bad Chicago Bears loss, and the fans calling in, they're on a fire and passion out there. You gotta want it. Well, that was Cassidy. Cassidy was the caller last night, calling in to Ryan Wallace's postgame about the team not having enough fire and passion.
Like
and
the
they don't want
fourth. He'd be like the fourth caller to ever make an appearance on that show. Okay, sorry, bad shot. That was a bad shot. Okay, Cassidy said his team didn't want the puck. They couldn't manage it. He said our will to compete for pucks just isn't good enough to win games in this league. It's inconsistent. Then he also went on to say, you're not going to win games in this league where you have to score 5 goals every night. So he's blaming.
Shout out to Ryan Wallace. I like Ryan Wallace. We've had great discussions, great hockey discussions, and great music discussions as well. Big Blink-182 fan. So going back to the comments, I mean, yeah, it's just so many things that are an effort, Tony.
I must be an entertainer.
You talked about the effort last week, and like I said, I pushed back on it, and now I'm with you on it. And all those things that you just mentioned about the will to win and the puck battles and all of these different things that are just not going well. And it's one thing if you felt the team was in these games, right? They were in the Boston game. Okay, they did well against Toronto. Ottawa, didn't they have a 2-goal lead in that game, and they had to score with an empty net to just get a points? I mean, this is a road trip where the Golden Knights needed 6 or 7 points. If they would have come back with 5, it wouldn't have been the worst thing in the world. But they needed to come back with 6 or 7 points. And we're not talking about the Golden Knights trying to make a run at the Vancouver Canucks anymore. I mean, maybe it could happen. I doubt it. But, it's season's not over yet. But there is 12 points of separation between the Golden Knights and the top spot in the Pacific Division.
Yeah, but now they're
got 3 games.
Now they're going to, it doesn't even matter anything about Vancouver because now they might have to surpass 3 teams in the division. So that's a lot more work. And it just,
it's 1,000% right.
It's a lot more difficult. If you're just looking up at the first place team, I mean, you had mentioned they play Vancouver probably 80 times here down the stretch. And then the Ducks to round things out so they make it into the playoffs, the final game of the season. They don't play the Kings again. I'm really annoyed about that. But now you're looking up at 3 teams instead of just Vancouver. And it's hard mentally to figure that out and step up, and you have to knock off one team at a time. That's difficult.
No, there's no doubt about that. And God forbid, 4 or 5 games from now, all of a sudden the Golden Knights aren't looking up to knock off teams like Edmonton and LA and possibly Vancouver to crawl up in the division, but it's looking at the 2 or 3 teams just above and below them trying to maintain their playoff spot. Right now, today, March the 5th, the Golden Knights are in a playoff spot by just 7 points right now. 8 points right now. No, geez, 7 points right. 6 points. Jeez, this is how bad it is. This is something we haven't had to look at too often. I mean, I guess technically this is the second time in 3 seasons the Golden Knights have been in this spot down the stretch. But
Shades of DeBoer right now. Man games lost, lack of effort. They might have played with a little bit more effort under DeBoer. But this just reminds me of this reminds me of DeBoer. I'm going to go back to something. Wasn't it McNabb who kind of tipped everyone off that there might be some issues in the locker room in the past?
We're not going to turn on each other.
We're not going to turn on each other. Not
this
now.
was like
no.
20 games ago.
They're not playing for each other. They're not playing for each other right now. Something's going on.
Yeah, and I mean, I think this is probably a perfect segue. I'm sure we'll hit that in the third segment.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't want to jump ahead. He said guys are waiting for someone else to do it. I don't know. Maybe they feel sorry for themselves.
That's a statement right there. That's a big statement right there.
Isn't that something? I mean, Cassidy now, I know a lot of fans were calling for his head last night. I saw one of your tweets.
So my tweet was players or fans calling for the coach's head, begging the GM to make a big move, and nervous coming out of a championship season, and now the team's scraping to make the playoffs. Now it feels like we're a sports city. Now it feels like we're a sports city. And then
I think it's
at
fun.
the end, I said, "Relax. These things happen."
I think it's fun, and there's a race, and I think now you have to figure it out. You have to bring in the pieces that are going to help you. But again, Cassidy saying it's a lack of willingness to fight for the pucks. He said, compete comes from inside. It comes from within. There's some issues in that clubhouse right now. Who is going to bail them out? Does Eichel come back now and start to take more of a leadership role? Pietrangelo, when he's not overskating the puck, maybe he can help out there as well to lead this team.
So many lapses on the defense right now. So many.
I've got a lot of shots in there today, huh? I'm a little spicy. Coming up next,
but you're the voice of everyone that's upset right now, and you're channeling it all.
No, it's my fault.
This is something that a lot of people.
It's my fault. It's my fault that.
No, you'll get dragged for some of the comments, but you're saying what everyone's saying on social media. Call it what it is.
That's fair. Coming up next, what is VGK's biggest problem? Are they journalists? Are they entertainers? We'll get to all this when we return right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. That's right. eBay Motors has everything that you need to maintain your vehicle and to level it up to peak performance, from superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you are into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you will always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time, or you get your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you are burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts that you need, the prices that you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and to bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. Welcome back on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick from Las Vegas. We appreciate you making us your first listen, especially to those fans in Denmark. They account for about 5% of our listens last week, which is pretty incredible. Yeah, we find some really interesting nuggets there.
Does Foley got a soccer team or something out there he bought or he's about to buy or something?
Good point. No, maybe what's Denmark known for? Windmills? Maybe he's buying. I don't know. What's he buying out there? Something. We appreciate everyone tuning in. Thanks for making us your first listen. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel where you can find the exclusive Chris and Chris show on Saturdays, we might add. And they got shout outs last night. Hey, I just want to give a nice shout out to a lot of the sports teams here in our community that are going out here for Nevada Reading Week. It's Nevada Reading Week. And of course, the Thrill, I'm involved with them. And they went out to their first school yesterday, just terrific. And the kids just made signs, and it was an assembly with 90 kids and just so much fun. Golden Knights are doing the same. That's really neat.
Golden Knights are going to be at my kid's school today. My daughter, I just found out yesterday, totally unrelated. I had no clue, and I just learned yesterday.
Shut up!
It'll be my daughter's grade today.
Okay. Wait, what time? That might be this. We might be headed to one of those schools today. I don't know. We're going somewhere today, so I'm going to try to get out there with the team. It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, great! So now you're going to walk into you're going to walk into a school. And you're going to assault some junior high friggin' volleyball team or something, and they're not going to win now because you walk in their building.
No. We're nothing like that. But yeah, but again, it's terrific that everyone's out there. And you said Chance goes out and reads.
Chance will be in my daughter's school today. Well, my son and daughter's school. My daughter's grade.
What does he do? How does he read?
He watches while someone else reads.
Okay, and goes like this, makes believe like he's reading.
Exactly.
Okay, VGK's biggest problem right now is it the fact that I have not saged T-Mobile Arena since my appearance there. I might be making an appearance on Thursday. A lot of fans want me to go out there, so I say it's a lack of defense.
That's rock bottom, folks. People want Tony and T-Mobile. Yeah, that's how you know where they're rock bottom right now.
I say a lack of defense, losing puck battles, a lot of turnovers still. Oh my goodness. It's just mental mistakes. It's mental mistakes. Oh, and goaltending now on the Cardasco confidence scale has gone down to 4. It's gone down to 4.
Is Adin Hill going to forever be known as that hot goalie that was a flash in the pan?
Best goalie in the league. Question. You said.
I did say it. Statistically, he was for a long time, probably not anymore. And I said, and I'm not saying I've lost my confidence in Adin Hill's ability to be a good goalie, but right now these are valid questions given his career and what's happening right now. Biggest problem. So some of the questions that I would just ask myself as a fan, as a journalist, as whatever the heck I am these days.
Entertainer.
Do the Golden Knights have the talents to be better than they are?
I said I was an alleged podcaster, but make sure that you use the term alleged in front of everything you say.
I'm just alleged. No, so do the Golden Knights have the talent to be better, even given all the injuries, even before Eichel came back? And I think the answer is yes. The talent on the ice was better. There was better talent on the ice than what the record has been. Yes, the defense has been bad. The goaltending's been very bad. Call it what it is. And with defense, it's not just the defensemen, it's the forwards as well. So if you start crossing off these variables and such, I think at some point we do need to address what's happening between Cassidy and the team right now. Cassidy is not an easy coach to play for, and that's not a knock on him either. His demands are extremely high, as many NHL coaches are, and he's going to ride you pretty hard, as players have mentioned in roundabout ways over the last, season and a half. And that's okay. That's who Cassidy is. And let's also acknowledge the fact that Cassidy did bring this team a Stanley Cup. Without Cassidy, I don't think Gallant or DeBoer, definitely not DeBoer, I don't think has the ability to win a Stanley Cup. Maybe that'll change this year. I don't think so. So Cassidy's done a lot of things, but I think just like the rest of the team, I think Cassidy's in a bad spot right now too, and having a bad stretch. And that's part of sports. The coaches make some mistakes, the team makes some mistakes, and hopefully it all works out in the end. But I think right now there is something on the Cassidy side that I think it falls on him right now. It falls on Cassidy to correct this, not waiting for Eichel to get back to form, not waiting for McCrimmon to do whatever he's going to do in the next 76 hours. What I think that's about how much time between now and the deadline. Cassidy's in a funk just like the rest of the team. And I think the moment Cassidy snaps out of his funk, the team snaps out of their funk.
Yeah, VGK, maybe the players starting to tune out with Cassidy. That was the biggest issue there in Boston. Again, the shelf life for coaches. You predicted 3 years for Cassidy before things start to tumble. Lindy Ruff, what, the fourth coach in season to be fired yesterday?
Wasn't it like a year ago they were apologizing to him in unison, in harmony,
Sorry,
and he
sorry,
gone.
Lindy. Yeah,
Being an NHL coach is tough. Like
it's really tough.
you're being hired to be fired in probably between 3 and 4 seasons, or in Vegas, 2.5 years is the average shelf life of a coach. Cassidy's not there yet. I don't think Cassidy's going to be gone in 2.5 seasons. Although, if the Golden Knights do miss the playoffs this year, which is a possible reality that needs to be acknowledged right now, and if they have a slow start next year,
Oh my
imagine
goodness.
what everyone's going to be doing. Like, it's not out of the realm of possibility. Just like it's not out of the realm of possibility that the team fixes this and makes a deep playoff run. Let's acknowledge that side of this too.
Another huge problem with this team. Opponents are figuring them out. They know what the scheme is. They know
that's coaching.
They know what VGK is going to do. They're predictable. It's shades of Petey DeBoer. Shades of DeBoer. Same thing. Go
all
from
right,
the
so
outside.
I'm going to ask a question, right?
Put 50 shots on net, but they're all from the perimeter and don't have a chance. There's no one in front.
I don't know how this take's going to go over, but I'm going to fire it. When the Golden Knights were struggling mightily in season 5 just to make the playoffs, and they were in a worse spot then than I think they are now. Maybe the standings might have indicated, but I feel better about this team than I did the season 5 team. I felt better. Well, a Stanley Cup victory just 9 months ago will make you feel that way.
All right.
But with the season 5 team, I felt there was always effort every game. I feel there is less effort right now.
Yes. And there's more talent. There's more of a log jam. There's more teams that are stepping it up at this stage of the season. VGK doesn't come back after the everyone relied on this team playing hot hockey in the second half after the All-Star break, and that's not happened.
Like we were doing this show then. Like I had started like just I think in March with you, so I was able to get through the stretch and all that when the team did not make the playoffs.
Bro! Happy anniversary,
thanks,
bro! Coming up.
I didn't think about
soon.
that.
Yeah,
wow, 2 years going.
2 years with me.
You're
the over an entertainer.
The over definitely hit on that one.
Yeah,
but going back to
over. Yeah.
Like I might go back and watch some like those shows, or maybe listen. I don't know if you were doing YouTube back then. But I'm really curious to think if we ever questioned the team's effort then, and I don't think we did. And now it's fair to question the effort. It's fair to question the coaching. It's fair to question the goaltending. It's fair to question the defense. It's fair to question the time length of this podcast. Like everything is questionable right now.
Yeah, we really have to want it to get the show in under 30 minutes. They're talking a lot.
You really got to want it. You really got to want it.
They're talking about Pavel Buchnevich. That name's coming up a lot. And then earlier we talked about Elliot Friedman saying VGK will sign not one, but 2 players. That's what I've been saying all along.
This isn't a talent and a personnel thing right now. It's
just
not.
Sign a goaltender and call it a day.
Bringing in 2 or 3 players or a new goaltender, whatever it is.
They need a veteran goaltender down the stretch. These guys have not been there before. They don't have the durability to play an entire season. This was my biggest concern.
I wrote about that. I'll dig up my article for Vegas Hockey. I don't want to say that name anymore. I'll dig up that article and what I talked about. And I was concerned about the goalies in June.
We're firing away on this show. It's great. We appreciate everyone tuning in, especially
everyone is, though, and it's fair. So were the Jackets last night.
That's right. Especially our everydayers and the folks in Denmark. Don't forget, Fridays are WTF. I don't know how you say that in Danish or whatever. But speaking of Danish, I need a Danish this morning and a coffee. Okay, we appreciate everyone tuning in. WTF on Fridays, Saturday, the Chris and Chris Show. Again, we'll see you tomorrow right here from my man, Chris Golick. I'm Tony Cardasco from Las Vegas. Take care. We'll see you tomorrow right here on Locked On Golden Knights.